Welcome to the You Were Designed for Greatness podcast. Each week we will bring you inspiring tips, stories, and ideas to help you be all that you can be, discovering your greatness. Featuring Donna. Donna is a transformational life and health coach, a highly sought-after public speaker, and the founder of Vibrant Living. She has helped hundreds find a better life, free of stress and living the greatness they were truly designed for. And now, your host, Donna.
Welcome. This is Donna Tashton, and I would like to welcome you to podcast number 28. I am sitting here in my office today looking out my window at the fluorescent, vibrant trees full of golds and reds and the leaves across my lawn, thinking about you. As we head toward Thanksgiving, I am thinking today about the power of gratitude. Gratitude is a magnetic force that naturally draws joy-filled people and occurrences into your life. When we experience the sense of gratitude, it means that we are thinking and meditating on thoughts of appreciation for the blessings in our life. On the other hand, when you feel like something's missing, it doesn't necessarily mean that we're always lacking something. But it does mean that we've been thinking about what is missing, and in doing so, we can very likely not be noticing all of the blessings that are present, even in difficult times. Gratitude is like a mental gear shift that takes you from turbulence to peacefulness, from stagnation to creativity. It brings you back to the present, to all that is working well in your life right now. Not worrying about the future and not being upset about the past, but being present in all that is working well for your life right now. Now, you may be already a grateful person, but give a listen and see if there's any little adjustments throughout this podcast that may show up for you. You may be happy to know that we're not born with this ability to be grateful, that it's something that we cultivate. So I like to call it the easy 1, 2, 3. First of all, gratitude is a choice. Number 2, it is a feeling. And number 3, maybe the most important, it's a learned skill. I have known people, actually many, who've lost their homes, lost loved ones, and it's an amazing the difference when they focus on choosing to be grateful, no matter what is happening, that they actually see more blessings in their life and they go through difficult times easier. Is it easy to choose gratitude all the time? Of course not. But it is possible. Now, one of the main things that hinders our gratitude or thankfulness is unforgiveness. Yeah, I know. I come back to this one a lot. If you haven't already, grab a cup of coffee and tea, or tea, that's my preference, and let's explore unforgiveness for just a minute. Even if you think you got this covered, just give it a listen. Unforgiveness is actually the number one reason why I see people who are sad and depressed and they struggle with an anxiety and fear. Unforgiveness is the number one thing that I've seen cause health issues and all levels of unhappiness. Unforgiveness leads to bitterness, which can affect your whole body. And it can even cause you to waste your life trying to get even Or the other thing I see is we stuff it and pretend like it never happened and it's, oh, we're fine, I'm fine, I'm fine. Both of those attitudes freeze and stall you from moving forward into your destiny. Bitterness has no friends, and actually our human body is not a container that's supposed to hold it. So it always leaks out. It leaks out in our attitude, it leaks out in things that happen around us, and it affects our whole body. Unforgiveness actually will poison your life. Joyce Meyer says, unforgiveness is like drinking a deadly poison and thinking the other person's gonna die. That is an amazing statement, and it's so true. Most of the time when we stay in unforgiveness, we think we're punishing the other person. But it's us that's drinking this poison. It puts us in prison. It restrains us. It holds us back, and we actually hold the key. We have the antidote. Now, you may be shaking your head with me and agreeing with me, but I'm curious what comes to mind when you think about forgiving someone. You know, that person who just popped in your head. That person who doesn't deserve to be forgiven. That person who really hurt you. And I am not minimizing the pain that we have gone through. We don't always acknowledge the effect of unforgiveness in our lives as we are doing it. So I'd like to share with you 5 lies that I have heard that may be affecting you. They're some of the reasons I hear why we don't always forgive easily. So if you're in a position to get a piece of paper, you might want to jot them down. And if you're driving in your car or some other place, just be thinking about this or give this a listen later. Lie number 1. We believe that if we forgive them, we won't receive justice for what they did to us, for our pain. The danger that's in this lie is that holding on to unforgiveness actually causes justice, and it doesn't. Me staying angry at a person does not bring justice, and they don't pay anything. I'm the one paying the price. It's learning to trust God to take care of justice and to let it go so you can set yourself free. Number 2, lie. We often think that unforgiveness of someone else's bad behavior can justify our own bad behavior. For example, I've heard people say, well, they did worse than that to me. And it's a no-win game. It's a blame game. So holding unforgiveness does not justify our own bad behavior. It's a no-win game. Lie number 3. You believe that if you forgive them, you will have to trust the person who hurt you in some way or did you wrong. And the truth is, you're not required to trust the person just because you forgive. Trust is something that's earned and granted as a privilege. It cannot be demanded by anyone. So forgiveness and trust are not the same thing. Lie number 4. We become convinced that our feelings are our convictions. It's the truth. But the actual truth is that your convictions dictate your feelings, not vice versa. Another way I like to put it is your focus creates your feelings, not the other way around. Forgiveness is not an emotional choice based on feelings. It is an act of your will. It is a choice. Number 5. When we're still in emotional pain from the person who wronged us, we often believe we can't forgive them until we work through all of our pain, all of our wounds. However, the truth is, forgiveness is not the absence of pain, but the present of mercy. What's important to note, it's not that because you forgive someone doesn't mean the pain of the offense will necessarily leave you automatically, although it might. But walking out forgiveness is the process of walking out of pain. One thing is definitely true. You won't stop hurting until you forgive. You may bury it and pretend like it's not there and it's numb, but you really won't stop hurting until you forgive. You can't put the cart before the horse. First is forgiveness, then healing of hurts. Not, I get rid of all the pain, then I forgive them. So first is forgiveness, and then healing of hurts. Forgiveness is such an important key that I want you to choose freedom today and unlock yourself from the unforgiveness octopus. It has so many tentacles that seep into our soul and choke out our life. We can be living in torment, but I would like to propose that you begin to walk through forgiveness, and it will deliver you from bondage, from restrictions, from sadness, all kinds of things. And that my prayer is that the eyes of your heart will be enlightened to any areas that may be under the influence of unforgiveness. Remember, only God can change something awful into something good. There's nothing in your life that is too messy, too big, too painful, too scary, too ugly for Him not to make whole. And if you've listened to my other podcast, read my blogs, you know I've shared you stories of how bad things can have turned to good. And I would love to help you through this. If this is an area you're feeling stuck, at the end, I'm going to offer you an opportunity to talk with me further. Take a breath, and we're going to get back to gratitude and thankfulness. Now, I was wondering, when people look at you, do they think you're a grateful person? What do they see? If it sometimes seems difficult for you, you can think of things that you're thankful for, and a couple of questions that have helped me to reflect when I seem stuck in some grumpy mood of everything's bad is thinking about what's special about your family. What's the nicest compliment you've ever received? What's the most beautiful thing you've seen in the last week? I love this one. What's the number one thing you're going to be grateful for this time next year? If you have a good attitude of gratitude, these questions are easy. And if not, it might require some work. So how'd you do? The next thing we're going to talk about is if there were found some challenges, there are some things that block us from being grateful. They're attitudes that are the opposite of gratefulness, and I often think of Eeyore when I think of these. So in honor of Eeyore, let's continue and talk about 5 things that can be attitudes that help us to be deficient, if that's a way to put it, in gratitude. One of the side notes is I have definitely noticed people who overindulge in media, like watch a lot of TV or the news or social media, and feeding on that, and they're in that a lot. It's sometimes hard to be grateful because we start comparing ourselves with other people's wonderful life, at least it appears wonderful, compared to our mess. So that's a side note. So let's get through these 5 attitudes of Eeyore, or of someone who is struggling with gratefulness. Number 1 is feeling entitled. It is unfortunately common today, and it's the feeling or the notion that someone or some group owes me something, that I deserve it. Even if I receive a gift, I might not acknowledge it as a gift. When we're so familiar with things that sometimes we forget to be thankful for them, like our family and people closest to us. Sometimes we just get so familiar attitude that, Mom's supposed to bring me food. Mom's supposed to do that. He's supposed to do that. And it's just this feeling of entitlement. And that really hinders being grateful. Number 2, disconnected from God. When we are feeling disconnected from God, we often forget to be grateful. And getting reconnected with God is so easy. And again, I would love to help you. If there is some distance and feels like God is not close to you, then I would love to help you with that. And again, at the end, I will give you an opportunity to have a chat with me. Number 3 is predicting the worst. Always predicting or fearing that the worst will come, and we call it worry. But worry involves dwelling on potential negative outcomes without really doing anything about them. It's just complaining about them. You cannot worry and trust God at the same time. I love this saying from Mark Twain. I've been through some terrible things in my life, some of which actually happened. Most of what we worry about never, ever happens. Number 4, the continuous deficiency syndrome. It is impossible to be grateful and suffer from this. Today's society constantly bombards us through media and technology and all other kinds of ways that there's always something more that could be better. We could be richer. Our whites could be whiter. Our carpets could be cleaner. Our kids should be smarter. You need to drive this car. You need to have this. You need to buy this new phone. You need to do that. There's always this feeling that something is deficient. And if you have that, you would be happy and you need to get it now. This feeling will rob you from being grateful because there is never enough and there is always something missing. And so acknowledge if that is there and choose to move through it and begin to be grateful. Number 5, and the last one, is the scarcity mindset. The scarcity mindset is focused on that there is never enough. It is characterized with the thought, if she wins, then I lose. If he gets it, I don't get any. It comes from the belief that there is only so much good available, and if he gets it, I probably won't, and I'm always at the end of the line, and I never get anything. And this is not true at all. It's the complete opposite of God's word on abundance. He came to give us life, and life in abundance. And there is so much to be thankful for. It is enlightening to see which of our hidden gratitude inhibitors you may be experiencing of these 5 lies. Just notice if they're showing up without judgment and choose to make a difference in the way you're thinking. Pursue gratitude relentlessly. Make it a quest. Make it your purpose. Remember the 1, 2, 3. Gratitude is a choice. Number 2, it's a feeling. And number 3, it is a learned skill. It's something you can do. I would love to talk with you more. You can use the link below to schedule a session to talk with me. Most of the time, one slight adjustment can change everything. It's like things get into the alignment and everything shifts. If you miss the link, you can visit my website, choose the tab that says Schedule Online, then choose Strategy Session from the drop-down menu. Don't delay. Schedule it today. Take a step forward to make next year even better, and choose this month of November to make your gratitude to be something that you pursue continuously, and watch how your life transforms. This is Donna Tashton saying live and love vibrantly.
Thank you for joining us on this powerful episode of the You Were Designed for Greatness podcast. Please share this with others who might enjoy it. For more info on Donna Tashton or to contact her, visit iVibrantLiving.com.